Hi friends, Dawn the Recovery Lady here. I'm a behavioral health clinician. My name is Dawn, D-A-W-N, not Dawn or Donna, bringing you life recovery tips. Just another parking lot tip today. I was out thinking the last day or two really about stress and how it affects our body. I don't feel that everybody is aware how much stress can take you out. It's a lot in the news these days with the Princess of Wales being diagnosed with cancer. When I look back at her last couple of years, I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. There's been a lot of stress. She lives in the public eye, is one of the most famous women in the world, married to a prince, going to be queen, and her husband's grandparents just both died. Her father-in-law has cancer, and there's war in the family that's being played out on media. Your stress may not be on a global scale because you're not as visible as that. But that type of stress in our bodies lowers our immune system. And when it lowers our immune system, our body can't fight back when we get infections and protect us. It wears us out. And we start holding it in and it's coming out. I've worked with people. I'm not a medically licensed person. I'm a behaviorist. However, I can't tell you the people that I've worked with holding in so much pain, so many feelings, and so much stress that have come down in the most stressful times with cancer. They get the fibromyalgia, other autoimmune diseases, migraines. Don't know why I've been getting these migraines. I've never once seen somebody under a lot of stress having something like that it wasn't related and tied together. Do you know we hold stress and feelings in our body? It could be stress that's happening right now in your life, in your job, in your relationship, in your finances. It could be stuff from long ago, and you're one of those people saying, hey, that was 20, 30 years ago. I'm going to move on. No reason to deal with that. It's coming out. You cannot hold that stuff in. It is coming out in one way or the other. Whether it's a migraine, the C word, as people say, or chronic infections, your body isn't meant to house that kind of stress and store those kind of feelings, especially for decades. Do you ever hear the saying when somebody says, oh, I'm so upset, I'm sick to my stomach? And you're literally, your gut's churning. Sometimes you lose your bowels, you'll get diarrhea. Let's just be honest, okay? These are recovery tips. We're not here, to spend 5 days. That's what it looks like. You get your stomachs in knots. Some people can eat too much. Some people can't eat. Some people are so stressed they get a vasovagal response and they lose, their bowels empty. You're sick to your stomach. You hear that a lot, and I don't mean sick to your stomach like the flu. It's a stress stick to your stomach. That's because that is how deeply rooted your pain is, your stress is, your buried feelings, undealt with stuff is. Deep, deep in your gut, deep in your root. And a lot goes on in your gut, and you're holding on to it. When you're starting at that point, that can tell me as a behaviorist, hey, this is some pretty deeply rooted stuff. Let's start. Not saying you don't get medical care. You always get the medical care you need, but there's an emotional component. Almost always. So that's the phrase, I'm sick to my stomach. Then have you ever heard, I've said this, I'm so stressed I'm having chest pain. I'm having chest pain. My chest is tight. It's anxiety. Maybe you had panic attacks. You think you're having a heart attack. When I was younger, I think that happened to me 2 or 3 times. So I went to the ER. It was a panic attack, anxiety attack, but it felt like I was having a heart attack. In my 20s, I had a lot of stuff from my childhood I didn't deal with. And it was coming out. It was coming out in the chest with the chest pain from the anxiety. But here's the good thing about that. It's like it's moving up. It starts in your gut and your stomach sick. And then you're like, oh, short of breath. I can feel it in my chest. That's because we have body memories and our body stores our pain and our trauma. is it starting to move up? It's like, oh, it's in your chest. It's in your chest. Okay. I'm thinking it's moving up. It's trying to get out. It started lower. And then, have you ever heard the phrase, oh, I'm all so choked up, hot, man, I need some air. I'm feeling just kind of, and you're choked up. You're choked up. You've heard that. That's when it's getting ready to come out and you're going to cry. It's getting close to your face. It's working its way out of your body. And the next step is when you get to that place where it's like, oh, you feel your face burning, your eyes tearing up, and those feelings need to be released. You hear me say all the time, every time you speak it, it loses power. Every time you speak it, it loses power. Every time you speak it, it loses power. The worst thing when I'm sitting with somebody and working with them is when I see it happening. It's like, oh, or they come in all choked up. Anywhere really, and then it's in their face and I can see they're going to cry, and they're like, deep breath, I'm okay, and they breathe and they push it back down and they push it back down and they push it back down, and they build a Target and a Walmart and a Sam's Club and all those things over, and a Costco, and they push it down, and then it's going to fizzle and it's going to try to come up again. Look, if you're in a meeting and that's happening and you feel your face burning and you're going to burst out in tears, you don't want to do that in that setting. You're in a counselor, a therapist, your clergy, with friends, somewhere where it's safe. You release it. You let it out. You go to your car, you cry. If you feel like you just need a good cry, put on a sad movie and get a good cry. That is releasing those internalized feelings we have stored, and they have to be released. Your body is not a trash compactor where you just push it down till it's filled up and empty it. It needs to get emptied regularly. And that means speaking your feelings, speaking your anxiety, speaking your fears. Every time you speak, work a program. Do what you have to do. Allow journal, but you may need more help than that, but you've got to let it out of your body. It frees your body. I lost a lot of weight after I did this for several years because I held on to I think I lost 90 pounds. I had held on to so much weight, and I could see the abuse of all these things. My body was just, that's how I was dealing with it. Food helped me push it down, push it down. Every time you speak it, it loses power. Look at what your body's internalizing. Think about those body signs. Work with somebody to get it out. You deserve it. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You deserve to be restored and healed and to move forward. That's what happens with stress and feelings in our body. I hope that helped. Thank you for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and share. Appreciate you guys.